Any comments? Any thoughts? Okay. Interrogation number 2. Who wants to read for me? A guy. Go for it. It's a little shorter, I think.
And as he reclined at the table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners were reclining with Jesus and his disciples. For there were many who followed him, and the scribes of the Pharisees, when they saw that he was eating with sinners and tax collectors, said to his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?"
Okay, good. Thank you. So here we go. Jesus is eating. He's got to eat too. He's a man. Okay? There you go. Thanks, dude. And what's so interesting about this, many tax collectors and sinners are reclined down. Remember last week the whole leper and how he was just really disgusting and he was kind of the outcast of society? Well, in society, these guys were the outcasts. These are the guys you don't hang out with. Okay? If they're just filthy. And sometimes we think that, if we're good people, we don't really want to hang out with people who, don't really smell good, or they act weird, or they talk weird. But just looking at Jesus who actually cares about people, no matter what and who they are, okay? I love that about him. With Jesus and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. Now Mark is wanting us to know that people were all rallying around him. Jesus was a really popular guy. People wanted to heal, people wanted to listen to him teach, they wanted to hang out with him. He was pretty cool. He wasn't just like some lame guy that says, "Hey, you better stop being naughty." He actually was there with the people. Sometimes as Christians we feel like, I can't hang out with those kind of people. They're a bad influence on me. Well, Jesus actually went to the people who had bad influences. And he actually cared for those people and had dinner with them and hung out with them. Okay? Interesting. Now here's the tension. Remember that. And the scribes and the Pharisees. So we keep seeing these Pharisees and scribes keep following Jesus around, and they want to interrogate him. They want to see what he's about. Okay? So they indict him. Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners? Because for them, you don't do that. It's not the right thing to do. So what do you think Mark's trying to portray about Jesus in this verse? Anyone? Go for it.
Jesus says that the people who are sick need doctors and the
Very good.
sinners.
Right?
And also, he's not afraid to show that he's the real deal, so he's willing to just sit down and talk with the sinners and the people who, really deny him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is this a bad Jesus you're finding? Is this Jesus kind of... Do you have a problem with him at all? Is he kind of like, oh, he's not too good, he's not too great? Is that coming through your minds at all? Or are you thinking, he's pretty good, he's doing a good thing? What do you guys think?
He's doing an awesome thing because he's sitting with people who know what he is. Well,
Yeah. Keep remembering this now, because Mark's showing us these little snapshots, and I'm picking select narratives to show you guys the way Mark is trying to, just like a stream of like a. You ever heard of like DNA? Maybe a little too technical here, but he's showing a strand of what's going on in this narrative, and there's this tension building between Jesus and some people. Okay, interrogation number 3. Who wants to read it for me, please? Show me some love. Anyway. No, you guys can't do it again. Jacob, give me up.
Now John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting, and people came and said to him, "Why do John's disciples and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Okay?
So again, who do you see is there again? Okay, the Pharisees, right? Who said that? $1 million. Okay? So you see the tension building. This story shows that they're kind of following Jesus around, trying to see, what are you doing? Why are you doing these things, Jesus? I don't like it. It doesn't fit what I understand about religion. We got to know what you're about, okay? Why do John's disciples... So he's not being compared to John also, but that's kind of... John's a good guy, remember that. Okay? Next section. Who wants to read the next interrogation? Okay, go for it. The Sabbath.
One Sabbath he was going through the grain fields, and as they were,
It's okay.
and as they made their way, his disciples began to pull up the heads of grain And the Pharisees were saying, "Look, why are they doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath?"
Okay. Now, the Sabbath was like the strictest day. Like these Pharisees, they kept making rules and rules and rules to not do this, not do that, not do this, not do that. And Jesus said, "Hey, you guys are hungry? Go eat." Okay? And they're like, "What are you doing? You can't do that." Now, I'm going to read you a passage in Deuteronomy. It's way in the back in the Old Testament, so you don't got to go there. I'll just read it to you. And this is a law that was made for this exact thing. It says this: "If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your full of grapes, as many as you wish, but you shall not put any in your bag. If you go into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not put a sickle to your neighbor's standing grain." So, the law even said they could go and pick stuff if they wanted to. But Jesus doesn't use the Old Testament law to validate their act here. He just says, "Hey, I'm Lord over the Sabbath, and I can do these things." He actually quotes a passage from David. Anybody know anything about King David? Old Testament? Pretty cool dude. A lot of authority. Okay? Jesus basically says, I'm just like David, and I can do as I please, because I am the anointed one of God. Okay? It's important to remember that. Okay. Who wants to read the next slide? It's called the sting. Actually, I think you had your hand up. Can I get a girl? One of you three girls? You want to do it back then? All right. Can you read for us the sting? Now, before we go, real quick, hold on. Is there any questions? Any thoughts? What do you think about Jesus so far? Anyone? Mara, you got something? What'd you say? Okay.
He said that Jew was going to say Jesus walks again.
Jesus, right?
Yeah, because he said Jesus walks twice.
Oh.
Last week and then he said it last
Okay.
week.
Good.
I think it's interesting how everything the Pharisees say, it has like a good answer.
So say that one more time. This guy was coughing.
Everything the Pharisees ask him, he has a good answer to, like,
Yeah.
and they don't have a response. So
Right.
it's kind of
So as we're in this interrogation, we're watching this questioning going on. We're kind of like, guys, relax. Jesus is legit. Like, it's okay. Like, he's doing good things. He's not a criminal. And Mark wants us to see that. He wants us to answer these questions on our own too. Okay? So, the sting. Go ahead, Becca. Nice and loud, please.
Again he entered the synagogue, and a man was there with a withered hand. And they watched Jesus to see whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come here." And he said to them, "Is it lawful on the Sabbath day to do good or to do harm, to save life or to kill?" But they were silent. And he looked around at them with anger, grieved at their hardness of heart, and said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He stretched it out, and his hand was restored. The Pharisees went out and immediately held counsel with the Herodians against him, how to destroy him.
Okay. So you see this thing. Jesus keeps going back in the synagogue, the place of most controversy, the place where the Jewish people would go. Jesus keeps going back to his people. Jesus is calling them back. He wants them to see that he is the king of Israel, but they're not getting it. Because he can go so many other places. As we go through the Gospel of Mark, we're going to see Jesus do awesome things on water, in streets. But he keeps going back to the synagogues. He's calling the people of Israel to see that he is the Messiah to come to save them from their problem. Okay? And so a man with a withered hand was in there, and they